He's totally dominated Group 6 for, well, as long as I've been around watching this sort of racing and enjoying both the Trans Am side of what Scott gets up to in TA2, of course, in that 48 Spike Coolers. Big machine vodka car, but this is his love. This Corvette, this number 1 Group 6 Corvette with the number 1 on. He's actually changed the colors from last year. You were telling us yesterday about that, but he's got some competition as the 37 of Claire Schwindeman, who put on a good fight yesterday, will do the same again. And as we've said, over 30 cars involved. Another beautiful Corvette just at the back there. And that's a bit more modern. That's 002.
But it is cool, the juxtaposition with that and an older Mustang that has that boss. Both of them kind of have that boss lines. And look at that. Oh, man. It's like a drag race. Scott Borchetta's car lifted up when he hit the gas.
Yeah. Did us a nice wheelie. And in the center of the shot there, Jonathan De Gainer in that Devon. Shapes and sizes coming through 210. Big bump through the second corner there as they head under the brakes till 3 and the Mission corner. And then they glide through 3, 4, and 5, and then under the bridge at 6 towards Big Bend. And you really do get this view, particularly gives you a real instinct of how the shape of Sebring goes. And then this long run through Big Bend under the bridge, and quite a long run to the hairpin at 7, which is the normal first major overtaking position. You can make it at 2, at 3, I mean. And Gary Moore puts on the anchors. Lovely prepared car. So far, everybody safely through the hairpin. Bizzarini going well.
Sorry, I was actually...
soup to nuts. We talked about that yesterday.
I was texting because we had a question of what power unit is in the Bizzarini, so I just texted his crew chief, Kurt Vogt, who just happens to be the president of the Shelby Club. And there it is. So Scott Borchetta, that was Kurt Wetzel's car in 1971, and he brought it back to the livery that Kurt raced it in Europe.
Yeah, and in Germany, of all places.
Yes.
I bet that was quite a sight back then.
I bet so, yes. Look at that shot right there. But if anybody has any relation to Kurt Wetzel, this car, he was a Pan Am pilot. That was a Tony De Lorenzo car, but not one of the Owens Corning's cars. But we'd love to hear from you. Anybody that's affiliated with that car back in the day, we'd love to hear from you. I know Scott and his team would like more history, more photos, and more stories surrounding that car, because I guarantee you that car is about to be one of the most winning cars ever in vintage racing. Yeah.
Well, somebody just went wide there and hit the dust. In fact, several cars are, but they're not going off. It's just the fact that off track and just off course, it's very dusty indeed. As this field starts to spread out, yes, that Pan Am pilot, I think the story goes he had a lot of excess luggage as he ferried parts between America and Europe to make sure that car stayed on track, right?
So I just got word that is a Coury engine in that Bizzarini. It's a 351 Windsor Ford-based engine. So there was the 351 Cleveland, made in Cleveland. Then there's the 351 Windsor. We've got some Canadians watching just over the Ambassador Bridge from Detroit in Windsor, Canada.
Oh, okay.
Claire Schwindeman, though, is keeping up with Scott
Doing
Borchetta.
a good job. Yep.
So that Bizzarini we were talking about has a 351 Windsor Ford power plant.
I'm glad he spotted that, because you spotted it yesterday and we're all excited about it. And it is a beautiful looking car.
It
frankly.
is. So that's the Devon of Jonathan De Gainer from Ohio. That is a Devon were kit cars that you could buy the body kit, but it's on a Corvette chassis, I believe. It's got a 327 Corvette engine. Really talented driver is John De Gainer. That's actually his father's car that he's driving.
Yeah, and they call it a Devon Evolution for that exact reason.
Yeah, you could put Devons on MGs. You could put them on Jaguars. Corvettes were popular platforms.
I just mentioned before you came in that Jaguar XKE that pulled out of yesterday's race. I don't see him.
No,
I'm presuming that he didn't make it out. Although Patrick Sessions, no, I say that. He's currently 15th, so maybe. Oh, no, he's
Larry Ligas.
That's Ligas.
He had an incident yesterday and won't be back on track. But there's Shannon Ivey in that beautiful number 7 Camaro.
That sounds
following
right,
Jeff McKee in that Falcon. And somebody up there ahead of him is smoking. Maybe Gary Moore in that Cougar. So let's ask the crowd here. What do you guys like? Do you like the Camaro, the Falcon, the Cougar? What's your favorite? Leave us some comments here on the SpeedTour.tv YouTube page.
Yeah, just to reiterate, it's all free this year. You'll be able to watch and tune in anytime that we are racing. Go to the SVRA website or the SpeedTour.tv website and YouTube. You can get the schedule, you can get the information there. Sign up and join us whenever you can. And like I said, as we tour around the country, we get different groups on the West Coast than we get on the East Coast. So it really is, we'll have 500 plus different cars as the season goes on.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun. And, you know, make some comments because we listen to your comments. Last year we got a lot of comments on, can you put this on Facebook? Can you put this on YouTube? And now here we are this year on Facebook and YouTube. So go to youtube.com/SpeedTourTV. That's the best way to see it. That's the comments that I'm reading. Tell us where you're watching from, and are you Ford, Chevy, Dodge, BMW, Jaguar? Who are you rooting for in this race?
Jeff Lindstrom in third place at the moment in the 68 car, the Ford Mustang Coupe.
Somebody just told me I shouldn't have mentioned the name of that bridge because it was recently in the news. You might be right. Look at that BMW coming in now. If you're wondering what this BMW is doing out there, that's a Group 12 car. They're new to the series. JR3 brought them in, Bill Glavin and Billy Glavin. I think there's two of them in this race. Over 400 horsepower, automatic transmission, and air conditioning.
Oh, I've just realized you were talking about that bridge.
Yeah.
The
Ambassador Bridge.
topical.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying
You were
to stay
just
current
pointing
events.
out where the engines were made. You
Current
weren't talking about
events.
the bridge.
There's
Gary Moore
Look
drifting
at
it through. Lovely.
That's our 2020 championship-winning Billy Griffin
Billy Griffin car, yeah. And he's racing this weekend.
That, I don't know who's on that camera, but that was a fantastic shot of the slip angles of the cars drifting through that turn.
No, you can't do that either. All the cameramen are superb. You can't pick one.
Can't play favorites.
No, and by the way, nice to hear. I know the cameramen do get to hear these comments now and again, but some nice comments on the internet saying good coverage, good drone coverage. It's always nice to see different angles, especially if you've been watching historics for a few years, to see these different angles and to see Sebring in a different light. Every company has a different way of covering, and we certainly enjoy having that drone as an option, and it's been very useful to cover big tracks like this 3.6 mile Sebring circuit.
Yeah, so we've got the Netherlands, we've got South Africa. Man, welcome.
Luis Guerrera going through.
A true global broadcast, Jonathan.
I have done a lot of racing in South Africa, or been to a lot of races in South Africa, mostly bike races, but there is a huge racing fraternity in South Africa.
Here it is, that Bizzarini. Look at that Bizzarini. Now, he does have a tow strap there hanging out the front. I hope that that's secured. I'm sure it is with zip ties.
So you say it's a Windsor engine.
Yep.
I think he's got fuel coming out, but that's probably the overflow. Doesn't look as though it's troubling him. And that's Carlo Falcone at the wheel. And Falcone, excuse me. And he's currently in 10th position, just behind John Strauss and Shannon Ivey, who we saw on that all-white car. And the number 7 is in 8th. Luis Guerrera 7th. Tyler Sharin in 6th place. And then Jeff McKee.
Yeah, that's Scott Shadle. He's been with us a long time. Really great, really well-prepared Camaro. Actually passed him on the highway on the way here. That's my claim to fame. I passed a race car driver. I might have been in my truck and trailer, and he as well. But
I guess that makes sense. You're all going the same direction, and you're all going. You recognize the big trucks as they pass by. You recognize the logos, and give a quick hoot and wave.
Yeah, it's fun. So let's go through. So Scott Borchetta currently in first. Well, hold on. We got to talk about this number 99, the other beautiful BMW there. Trying to go through my scoring. That's Bill Glavin.
Yeah.
Chasing that red Ferrari right there, the number 9. You can see the JR3 stickers right there. He and his son with JR3 and HMS Motorsports.
Yeah, won a few Ferraris out there in this one. Ferrari 360 Challenge car from 2000, so fairly modern.
I love the look of that Bizzarini. He's
What's
got
hanging
some.
off it there
So
that's
that is
just
that asbestos wrap that goes around exhaust pipes just to keep
There's
it
that
cool.
Ferrari.
That's beautiful. That's Scott Shadle. No, that's
the 36 of John Mulaney, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
because
Ferrari
he's also
360.
races with us in International GT.
Yeah.
John.
Boy, that's going to
Mulaney.
be quite a busy couple of hours for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He was.
And then there is the GT 350.
Classic, huh?
Yeah, that's a beautiful car. That's Mr. Dolan. And one of my favorite vintage races in the world is the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. If you've never been to it, it's a street race through the park of Shinley Park in downtown Pittsburgh. And it is just such a fun event, and I believe he's the chairman of that event. So if you're ever in the Pittsburgh area, you need to check out the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix.
Good knowledge. And new events in Historics Chattanooga and a few others coming online, and in a weird way, Historics is growing exponentially, isn't it?
It's the place to go. It's really fantastic drivers. You build a car once, and they never go obsolete. Where in other, race series that you build a car and then 2 years later the manufacturer releases a new car and obsoletes your car. That 66 Mustang, 67 Mustang isn't going to be obsoleted. We're always going to want to see that on the track.
Yeah, and for many, the actual race on a Sunday is almost, obviously it's the fruition, but it's the work that goes into the love, the work, the fettling that goes into it in preparation each and every week. Getting it to the Saturday or the Sunday, that's where the love goes in.
Yeah.
And on a Sunday, it's just enjoying that love. Here's the number 11, talking of which, John Strauss. No, excuse me, it's not John Strauss. Take it back. Looking for the 11, but I haven't got him on my list.
James Glass, Jim Glass, 65 Corvette Roadster.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm confused by the same thing, but Paul Figueroa has already reminded us that less than 5 minutes left, so thank you for that reminder from our comments section.
Scott Borchetta off into the wind. He's some 16 seconds up the road now from Claire Schwendemann. The two Corvettes, one a Roadster, and that's the second place, red, white, and blue.
I've got a lot of comments about that Forza Ferrari out there. Lots of fans. But look at this. This just looks like we're back in time with that Mustang and the Corvette they're fighting. And there's Ray Zisa, one of my favorite drivers. Saw him at the Mexican restaurant the other night. It's all about food for me, if you know me.
Of course.
And
1990 Chevrolet Corvette.
Yeah, great racer. Has some great races with us. If you look at our social media
I'm
on our
surprised you don't
YouTube.
eat with Tony. He's all about the food.
Yeah, I need to. Look at the American flag there on that 002 car. I just got the word that it's the last lap.
Well, it will be when Scott comes across
when Scott
the line.
comes back by, yeah.
002.
I don't see that one on here either. We're having some scoring problems.
Hang on, I might go
Sorry,
back to my
ladies and
original
gentlemen.
list.
So we'll go
Yeah,
through.
I've got, that's Ronnie Tassila in the Mustang.
Renee
FB.
Tarsilla, yeah, with Griffin
350S.
Motorsports. Awesome. Renee, thanks for coming back out. So we've got Scott Borchetta in the lead, followed by Claire Schwindeman, followed by Jeff Lindstrom. That's your overall. But Jeff Lindstrom's in Group 12, leading Group 12. Then we've got Louis Guerra, Jeff McKee, Tyler Sharon, Gary Moore, Shannon Ivey, John Strauss, John Mulaney, Carlo Falcone in that Bizzarini soup to nuts, Scott Shadle, Bill Glavin, Jim Dolan, James Glass, Ray Zisa, Renee Tarsilla, Eric Bowman, John Cloud, and Gary Hagopian rounding it out. But there is our leader. And here it comes. Scott, Rocky, Dylan, I hope you don't mind. He's on a streak.
Yes.
He hasn't lost a race, they were calculating last night, since I think 2019. And by that, I mean that's the Ricky Bobby, not like if you're not first, you're last.
Yep.
Like he has not gotten worse than first place in that car since 2019.
It's incredible, really. When
Which
you
some
think
people
it's a
can
69
say,
car. That's a, that's a over 50-year-old car.
Yeah.
And it's not dropped a wheel. It's not dropped anything mechanical, and it's done every lap that it's raced in, and it's done it at the front.
Maybe we should have been saying this during the cool-down lap, but
I'm about to say, yeah, we are going to put the commentators' mockers on it, and
Yeah.
I do not want to be responsible for that.
But if I were to just do math in my head, that's like probably somewhere between 35 and 50 races. Some people can say
And
that
how many
if they
miles
do
would that be?
if they do one race every 3 years, but this is like he does almost every race with us.
And that's
every
a lot of
weekend.
miles for
Oh,
a 50-year-old car.
A ton of miles. Brand new paint job on that car. Dylan Hellman sprayed it with that pearlescent whites in their paint booth there in Nashville at the Borchetta Racing Shop. He baked it overnight. This is just a week ago. I think probably about 8 to 9 days ago now. And put it in decals, and here it is out winning both of its races this weekend. That's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, Scott Borchetta comes out of the tower turn for the last time and heading down towards Bishop for the last time to win this by a country mile yet again. And he's some 19 seconds ahead of the second place man. Jeff Lindstrom still in third. Now, what's happened up here?
I don't know.
2 cars off track there.
It looks like Shadle there.
Well, they're not going anywhere, but this man is. Scott Borchetta comes into Sunset Bend. Glinting in the sunshine of Florida. Another impeccable performance by the Nashville man. And his streak continues. The checkered flag waves then for Scott Borchetta in the number 1 1969 Chevrolet Corvette as he wins ahead of Claire Schwendeman in the number 37. He's just coming into Sunset. A few seconds behind, but still a very good effort and another beautifully prepared car. So he takes the checkered flag for second place and a few seconds behind Jeff Lindstrom in the Ford Mustang Coupe, just behind. Not quite coming to shot yet, another Corvette. Got one more lap to do, but third place man will be coming up soon. And that was Group 6 and Group 12A. And for those interested, we've got Groups 8 and 12B. Give us a hint on what we're going to see in that.
Well, another one of my favorite groups, Group 8 and 12B, the B sedans. But right now we're going to throw to commercial. Stay tuned for some great production car racing right after this.